big enough for 2 supervillains.
Oh, you're a villain, all right. Just not a super one.
Yeah? What's the difference?
Presentation!
Humans have a hard time embracing different. That's why in Megamind, a film produced by DreamWorks, a super intelligent, oversized head supervillain alien goes through hurdles, defines society and himself in the pursuit of acceptance and inclusion. Through the eyes of advocates for people with developmental disabilities, the film gains a different perspective. The oversized head of the character is used by directors to infer a superior IQ. In the real world, this could be a very dangerous symptom of an overwhelming disorder that affects 2 out of every 1,000 births in the United States. It's called hydrocephalus. Here are the 3 things we should know about hydrocephalus, and they will help advocates improve their understanding of the condition and provide powerful tools to help clients who may also have this condition. Hydrocephalus is not always congenital.
Hydrocephalus is a condition that involves the buildup of cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF, a fluid that is produced in the cavities of the brain known as the ventricles.
Now, many people think that hydrocephalus is hereditary or congenital, but that's simply not the case. Hydrocephalus can be present at birth or can be acquired later in life due to a tumor, head injury, meningitis, or maybe a hemorrhage. Congenital hydrocephalus, on the other hand, can occur in isolation or may be associated with other conditions, such as spina bifida or Dandy-Walker syndrome, which means that hydrocephalus can affect anyone at any age, but it's more common in infants and older adults. Understanding this puts you a step closer to mastering the ins and outs of hydrocephalus disorder. But wait, there's more.
Ah! Oh, I'm too close! I'm genuinely scared right now! Oh, I hope no...
Hydrocephalus is very serious. I guess by now you might be wondering, is there anything to worry about with hydrocephalus? And the answer is, unfortunately, yes, there is.
Hydrocephalus is a real problem because as that fluid builds up, it puts pressure on the brain, and this can affect the developing brain in a young child, and it can eventually lead to a dangerous illness where the child becomes quite ill, ultimately would go into coma and potentially die. Or in a young infant, the head grows very fast, much faster than normal, and the child gets a large head and their development is affected adversely because of this buildup of pressure inside the brain.
As you see, hydrocephalus can be very serious and even fatal if left untreated in 50% of the cases. On the flip side, those fortunate enough to be appropriately diagnosed are still at risk of presenting severe brain damage. That may sound very discouraging for both advocates and caregivers. But here is some good news. The best hydrocephalus treatment. One symptoms like headache, blurred or double vision, eyes fixed downward, abnormal enlargement of the head, sleepiness, and even nausea or vomiting are detected. Diagnosing the condition is crucial to getting treatment, and the orthodox way to treat hydrocephalus is through a powerful device called a shunt.
I didn't quite hear that last part, but it sounded important.
A shunt is a tube that goes through a small opening in the skull, passes through the brain, and enters into this enlarged ventricle. This is attached to a small valve which regulates the flow of fluid, and then tubing slides underneath the skin and is passed into the abdominal cavity where the fluid can be absorbed in a normal way.
Undoubtedly, the discovery of the shunt by the hydraulic engineer Stanley Wade in conjunction with the neurosurgeon Kenneth Till in 1960 was a huge step that has saved thousands of patients. But still, people with hydrocephalus disorder might need other kinds of treatments, depending on the severity of long-term complications, such as developmental therapy, which helps with age-appropriate behaviors, social skills, and interpersonal skills. Mental health therapy could be provided by a psychologist or a psychiatrist and helps the individual build self-esteem, reduce anxiety, and strengthens coping mechanisms. And last but not least, professional support. A specialist helps in the development of everyday skills and community integration. It is essential to note that even with the shunt and other extra treatments, the disorder remains one of the most tricky things to cope with. That's why understanding, compassion, and most of all, resilience are qualities that advocates must develop to support individuals with this condition.
Megamind, I don't even know if you're listening, but if you are, you can't give up. The Megamind I knew would never have run from a fight.
Well, you've made it to the end of this video, and right now, you're way closer to providing the best support for individuals with hydrocephalus disorder. But before you go, one more thing. Despite shunts being great, the problem with them is that they might require maintenance and recurrent treatment throughout life. However, with the proper clinical help and advocate support, people with hydrocephalus can still find their way to living a fulfilled life and becoming active and vital members of society. And that is all for now. Thanks for watching, and remember, First Choice Family Services is your information resource for the DSP industry.